of Chief Administrative Secretary. I believe there have been quite a number of views, representations made to the PSC, the results of which are not, they are not with me, since I'm merely a nominee, and I'm not supposed to know what it is that happened. And in any event, they were supposed to advise, as per the Constitution, the President. They are not, even in doing that, required. If you look at the specific provision, they are not even required to engage or involve the Attorney General in that matter, because it's up to them, once they have received views, to present to the President their recommendations. Finally, but therefore, let me just say this. I intend to advise the entire government that, you know, the three arms of government, and indeed even the devolved units, yes, there is the principle of separation of powers, which is important in our constitutional architecture, but there is also need for each to respect the others. When Parliament makes a decision, the executive should respect that decision, and so the same should apply to judgments that have been given by courts. If there have not been any appeals, or even if there are appeals, they should be obeyed to the extent that you know, an appeal has not you know, invalidated the orders that may have been made. Finally, Mr. Chairman, there is the question raised by the Honorable Dawood, part of which is about on this issue of legal aid. See, legal aid must be understood to not just be limited to pro bono services. The Office of the Attorney General doesn't have the personnel, and I think will never have the personnel enough to give pro bono services to every citizen. The best that the office can do is to just give general information. And my position is, once we are able to roll out the services of the Office of the Attorney General to every of our counties, because currently we are only in 13, and that leaves quite some big part of the country without the services of the Attorney General. We can only do so much, because we are limited both to both the space, resources, both the human and financial. In several cases, like I said earlier on, it becomes very, very difficult for the Office of the Attorney General to really give free representation to citizens, because you know the range of disputes in civil matters is so wide. The Office of the Attorney General cannot possibly contemplate what is likely. You know, somebody will be saying this from Garissa, another one from Migori will be suing another one, and it's not possible. And not all the cases are against government. Some of them are disputes between citizens, both human beings and juristic persons. So it's likely to be quite a challenge to the Office of the Attorney General. With regard to the cases, the number of laws that have not been implemented or passed, Mr. Chairman, the challenge goes back to Parliament, because if you look at, although I can say here authoritatively, if you look to the 5th schedule, all the laws that were supposed to have been enacted by the last two parliaments, in fact 3 parliaments, have all been enacted. If you go to the schedule in the fifth schedule of the Constitution, all of them, without exception, were passed by the last 3 parliaments. So there isn't any that one can say has not been passed. I'm also, you know, I can also say authoritatively that there are several others which were not in the 5th schedule, which, through efforts of individual members, have also been enacted. I know that they still, Parliament was supposed to enact legislation to give effect to Article 100. And I'm aware that the last Parliament, I think the National Assembly had already done their bit and referred the bill to the Senate. Well, this is a new Parliament. I think that can be, the matter can be reopened. But I think I would want to enlist the help of the National Assembly in particular in combing through the Constitution and seeing which other areas of our Constitution